continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Jonas Siegel coming up here in about 10 minutes. Saw Jonas last night before the game. I walked in. He was convening. With a couple of other athletic writers and just coming up with their plan on how they thought everything would play out. Little pep talk for the athletic crew.
Let me guess. Chris Johnston and James Myrtle.
Myrtle was there, CJ was there, Josh Cloak was there, and they were all. It was like an athletic huddling before, a little pep talk for the boys.
Did he pretend like he was like Craig? Remember when we walked in on Craig Button?
It was very similar to that. Like
what are you
I
doing
have
here?
been friends with Jonas for over 15 years.
Dude, you like way back in the day.
Yes, I have known Jonas longer than probably anyone else in the industry, and good friends, and I love Jonas. And I walked in, and he and Cloak were talking, and he gave me the look like, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because I stopped. I was walking to my seat, and I'm like, hey, Jonas, what's up? What are you guys doing? And he's like, nothing. Like, okay, enjoy the game. I'll see you later.
Remember how horrified Craig Button was to see us in that scouts room?
I will never forget that. I'll never forget it. Like, we walked in there, and we were rowdy, and we're, hey,
that look was, don't even think. I had just pulled, like, some mascot's head off my body.
Right.
And I had the bottom part on, I think. And this guy was just like, no way, man.
Mortified.
Yeah.
No way, these guys. I don't know these guys.
Greyhounds, Colts, and the three of us up there. And, like, Svechnikov was playing in that game. Morgan Frost was playing in that game.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big scouting outing for Craig. Craig's up there working, and we walked in, and we see him, and, hey, Craigie. And he looked at us like, I don't know you, and you don't know me. Keep walking.
And please stop acting like you know me.
It was like he was in witness protection, and his old, like, people from his old life had spotted him in Tempe, Arizona.
His scout name was Daryl, and no one's ever called him Craig before.
That was Jonas to me last night, I think, before the game. So we'll catch up.
Jonas about
we'll get to the bottom of that. We'll catch up with Jonas here in a few moments. Couple of news and notes for the games tonight. Harmonicas, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get harmonicas before the Kings-Oilers game. But
Biz posted out that the ladies that
that's what
did
Biz has heard. Yeah.
Paul Biz heard that they need rest.
That they might have to take the night off. They passed on the invitation. That's what he's hearing anyway. God. That's
classic.
What buzzing around the league.
But he's also hopeful that they get they change their mind.
As he should be. Everyone wants to see the harmonicas again tonight. Jeff Skinner's a healthy scratch.
Oh, no.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds that way. Now, the game's later tonight, so we'll find out.
No, I think he's 100% a healthy scratch because Frederick and Kane are in.
Man, this guy has waited.
Dude,
15
he has played 1,000
years.
games and not played one playoff game. He plays one, and then he's pumped.
And he's out. Healthy.
I get it. I mean, I think they're like, okay, Kane's going to go right into the top six, and Frederick, we got to get playing. We're going to put him on the third line left wing. Like, where does – I don't know. You're right. You can find a spot for it, but in the end, I think this is where you come down to it. This isn't heartstring stuff. They're trying to win a game. You got to go with what you believe is your best.
They're not obligated
and it doesn't take much. The hate on gets going quick. Like, if there was one play, it was blown coverage by him, or the coach got any sniff that his intensity or battle level wasn't there, it is just no time for, hey, how you doing, how you feel. It's just you're out, man.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's the beauty of the urgency of the playoffs, the energy. It's just incredible.
Yes.
It's so much better. Everything matters.
You're right. But that's why I would think, going onto the road for the Leafs, for example, in Ottawa tomorrow, for some reason, you're right. I think Chief will probably just come back with the same group. But it wouldn't surprise me if he goes, hey, I need a different body in this line, like a Pacioretty for a Robertson or something like that. I don't know.
I agree with you.
Just a gut instinct. But what you're trying to do is not looking back. You're looking forward to go, what is this night potentially going to bring? And what do I feel like I need in my arsenal that might be a little bit different? This is adjustments on the fly. So it's not hey, we won last game and that's not change it. Well, you're not changing the core. You're not changing. What you're doing is bit piecier, bigger body here, faster skater here, like that type of stuff. I think that's what coaches are trying to do is tweak. Even when you're winning, I feel like you should be progressive instead of reactive.
I think you're right, and they did tweak between game 1 and 2. They flipped Holmberg and Domi.
Right.
And, we established this a couple hours ago. The Matthews line isn't going to change. I think Holmberg is with Nylander and Tavares. And Holmberg is what he is offensively. He's just, the puck's going to die on a stick sometimes in terms of big offensive moments and stuff. He's not going to create on his own. But he's a big body that battles. He gets under the skin of the Sens. They don't like him. Like, they do not like him.
Something about him. They don't like that.
They don't like him. And I think that's a good thing. And I can understand why Berube would like that. And the Lawton line is going to stay intact. And as it should. And he's trusting them. They started the game last night. But I think another big development through 2 games, and again, this can change, but I think it's very unlikely that it will, is you look at the deep pairings in the ice time, they're very equal, like across the board. There are matchups they're trying to find, and obviously where the puck is and where the puck's going to be dropped and all that is going to matter in terms of how they utilize guys.
Okay, can you put that into perspective from years past? Like, would it be like Morgan Riley and his partner a zillion minutes and then bleed down?
Absolutely. Like, there would be times, and that will happen, I'm sure, at some point, but there have been times where the third pairing is playing 10 minutes, 11 minutes, or the sixth defenseman is very defined. That guy's playing 9 or 10 minutes, and that's not happening. And I think that's credit to what they've built. It's credit to Brad Treliving. He brought in Tanev, Carlo, Ekman-Larsson. Those are 3 guys on all 3 different pairings. They all have equaled things out, and he has a lot of faith in Ekman-Larsson and Simone Benoit, and he should. Like, Benoit took some heat at times. He's not a perfect defenseman, but he's your 6th defenseman. And what do you want him to do?
And he's had some big hits, and I thought he's played nicely, to be honest with you.
I think he's been very good. Like, for him and what you can expect. And look what he did in overtime. He reads the play. He takes the pass, moves up ice. He drops the puck and goes to the net, and he creates a screen. He
had a play in L.A. where he got beat and his knees kind of buckled, and I saw that, and I was like, what the hell is that going to look like come playoff time? But it's like I think he's just elevated his play a little bit. Like, the standard's gone up and he's raised.
And he's got to stay within his wheelhouse. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
You just, play to your capabilities and don't try and, do something that you're not capable of.
And that's all I think he's doing right now, Jamie.
Yeah.
He's playing to, a guy like that, you ask him to play to his capabilities plus. It's playoff time. Do it better than the regular season. A little bit more physical. Don't think you're Bobby Orr now. Just it's regular season plus for a guy like Simone Benoit.
Well, I think a lot of it too is, again, the fact that he's playing with Ekman-Larsson, because last year that might have been Liljegren, and then he's looking at Timothy Liljegren saying, "I'm the man." No, you're not.
Right.
Ekman-Larsson is, you just fit in and play your role, right? Or if it's Justin Hull or someone like that, it's a different scenario. Right. And, these 3 defensemen they brought in and the goaltender, that's, I think, been the biggest change.
I know someone who loves Liljegren.
Oh, yeah. The guy who snubbed you. I
got a minor snub last night in the presser. I was surprised because Jonas and I go way back. I love Jonas. He's a dear friend of mine. Here he is from The Athletic, Jonas Siegel. Jonas, I saw you and Clokey Boy last night. You guys were convening a little pep talk before the game. I thought I got iced out a little bit.
Jonas, what happened? Hazy
there?
said you blew him off last night. True or false?
Called him a pigeon, too.
Yeah, that was the vibe I picked up on before the game. What was going on there? A little athletic huddle before the game.
I did not think you were Jeff O'Neill. I didn't think you required to stop and chat and sit and talk about the world. And we were just getting ready for the game. It was 2 minutes before puck drop. Number two, who is the Liljegren fan? What are you?
Dude. You know how many times I've heard you saying you were all over Victor Metes and Hollowells and all these cats, and you were loving it.
Callie Rosen.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Jonas.
Slander.
Okay. Well,
What should I do? Wait. So what should I do next time? You want to have a powwow? We'll grab a beer.
I expected a little powwow.
How about this? A handshake.
There you go.
Oh.
Let's shake it out next time. But it does feel different, Jonas. You've been covering this team for a long time. I will start on defense. There is obviously they're up 2-0, which is the biggest difference. They haven't been up 2-0 in 23 years in a series. But there is no discussion about this defense core and even an odd man out or anything like that. It's been very balanced. The 3 pairings, all 3 of them are playing about 20 minutes, and they've all, I think, pulled their weight very well.
Yeah, that's kind of been surprising to me how evenly they've been played. because you didn't head into the playoffs maybe thinking that with that third pair with Ekman Larsson and Benoit. But I think all three have kind of found their roles. You look at that top pair with McCabe and Tanev, you know what they're going to do. I think the Carlo-Riley pair has been really effective. I think they've broken out cleanest. And then, Benoit, I didn't think had the best regular season, but you mentioned having Ekman Larsson there beside him. I think it's a little cleaner. It's a little smoother. I go back a few years. I was thinking back to some of the playoff cores that they've had, and you think back to that one year, I think they had Riley, Lyubushkin, maybe it was Muzzin, Hall, and maybe the third pair was like Giordano, Liljegren, as kind of like in the ballpark, but that's not as good as this. So yeah, it's a development. Obviously, they rebuilt the blue line last summer. They continued to rebuild it with the acquisition of Carlo. I really like that trade. I think it's worked exactly as they anticipated, as they hoped. He has tons of playoff experience, and he's fit in really, really well with Riley. Like, that was one of our questions heading into the playoffs. Would the guy we've seen in the playoffs with Morgan Riley come back out in the postseason? And I think we've kind of seen that. I think it was happening late in the regular season, but 2 goals in 2 games. And if you look at his playoff numbers over the years, I think he's got 13 goals in 58, 59 playoff games. Like, and you stack that up against some of the top defensemen in the NHL, it's right up there.
Jonas, in your opinion, how much does good fortune play in all of this? Like, how much, like, vibes out there? Like, how kind of I've been talking about the phrase "the leafiest thing ever." To find a way to lose that one in overtime, like that, it obviously tied going into overtime. It wasn't that far off from happening, and then today would be posing the question: how about those Leafs? They just couldn't go up 2-0. Like, how much is just a positive vibe needed and good fortune to have some success in this playoffs?
Well, this is what we've been arguing about all year, because it's felt like there's been so many games like that during the regular season where you and I, the three of us, would like argue about it because, like, did they play that well? And it's like, no, but like they kind of found somehow to pull out the game, whether it was because of their goaltending, whether it was because of their power play, whether it was because like they have these 4-star players that most teams don't have, and they would just find a way to win that game. It just feels like last night was kind of a replica of what we saw so many times during the regular season, where it's like halfway through the game, I'm looking up at the shot clock and they have 10 shots, and yet they're up 2-1 or 2-0 at that point. It's like, how is this happening? And yet it didn't ever feel like the game was like totally out of their control. Even when it's 2-2, you don't totally feel like they've lost the plot. And so, like, I'm kind of annoyed a little bit with this feels different storyline with them.
Oh,
but
annoyed.
Something
That's
is
a strong word.
I don't know. It's like, what does that mean? Like, this feels like, what does that mean? Something is different about the team, and I don't know if that's just their goaltending is better, their power play is better. You mentioned, like Hayes mentioned, the defense is better than it's been. I don't know. Like, is it the fact that they have these star players who are like 27, 28 now? Tavares has obviously had a good year. Like, is it all these things kind of coming together? I don't know, but like luck is a part of this for sure. And like, you go back to some of those series in the past where it's like, if this goes differently, they win the game, and then who the hell knows what happens.
Yeah. I think the a big part of the difference is who they're playing. They're not playing Boston. They're not playing Tampa. And there's demons with those teams. There is. This is a fresh start with Ottawa for this group, that you're dealing with a different team. But I do think you look at, I think the 5 figures that have been brought in here over the last 12 months that have had a tangible impact on what we've seen through 2 games, and certainly down the stretch, would be Berube behind the bench. He's got a different approach to how he sees the game, how he operates. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he goes about his business is very different. The guy in net, Stolarz, who's been outstanding. I mean, he's the guy all year. His story is an incredible one. He's 31 years old. He's basically under the spotlight for the first time in his career. It's an amazing story, and he's been great and been so consistent. And now look at him through 2 games. His first 2 starts in the playoffs, the guy's been outstanding. And then it's Tanev, Carlo, Ekman Larsson. Like, that's it. That's what's different. Like, you've got a coach, a goalie, and 3 big defensemen. That's what is different here. And that I think is why you would have a feeling, if you're going to get there as a Leaf fan, that things might change. It's because of those are the different pieces. Those are pillars of the organization that are going to play a massive role in how this is going to play out. And I think we've witnessed that from all of them through 2 games. Yet it's only 2 games, and you turn the page, Jonas. I guess you'd have to go back to when the Leafs were up 3-1 on the Habs in 2021. It was a different world, different era, different coach, different GM, different team, different goalies. But they haven't been in this position that they're going to find themselves in tomorrow night, where they get a chance to really bury a team tomorrow. They haven't had that chance. They're never in this role when they play the Bostons and the Tampas and the Floridas. What would lead you to believe that they're going to be prepared for that tomorrow night?
Well, can I just disagree with you a little bit?
Sure.
Because I like to do that. That's
Please
fun
do.
for me.
Please do.
See, that feels like a little bit of like recency bias. Like you think back to their team in 23. That was a pretty good team. Like you can match up some of the pieces from that team with this team and be like, is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Like I think Tanev, I don't think they've had Tanev before. Like Jake Muzzin is probably the closest thing to Tanev, and I don't think he's quite in that class or was in that class, but he's pretty close. They had Ryan O'Reilly that year. Like Mark Giordano the first year, if I'm remembering this right, was pretty effective, including in the playoffs. Like it wore down as that one playoff rolled along, but like he had effective moments. TJ Brody obviously had some. Anyway, what's different? What will be different this year? I think the goaltending is like the biggest thing. Like if you look at these 2 games so far, and you're like, what is the difference in this series? To me, it's power play and goaltending. And so if those 2 things continue to carry over, they're going to win the series. Like I don't know how you guys felt about the series coming in. Like I thought they would win in 5, so it's kind of going as I expected. But 5-on-5, like the series has kind of like statistically been all Ottawa.
But they've also been up 2-0 before you flinch in both games.
For sure. Like and they've scored, and their goaltending has been really good. And this is kind of what happened in the regular season, where a lot of nights it's like they don't really have a lot happening, but they're up 3-0, or they're up 3-1, or they're up 2-1, or
Jonas,
something like
isn't
that.
a lot happening? Kind of like we talked about it because there was this big fuss of, they don't make plays when they cross the blue line. The puck was just being advanced, and you and Mike Johnston bitch and complain about the dump-ins, and you wanted more plays. But isn't that...
We like goals.
Aren't we at the finish line of what that was in preparation for? Because we've seen in the past where silly plays in the neutral zone and costly turnovers and playing hacky sack Marner and Matthews with the hockey puck inside their blue line against the Panthers and goofy stuff like that, it doesn't work. It's not sustainable, and you don't win with it.
See, this is what I don't totally get is that the margins have been, again, like, I don't want to rain on your parade, but, like, actually I kind of do. But, like, what Mike and I were saying is...
Please do.
What Mike and I were saying is it's better to be up 4-1 in a game than to be up 2-1. And it felt like so many times this year, it was just 2-1 every game. And like we hear all this talk, well, they're really good in close games. It's like,
let me just stop you there. Let me just stop you there. Being up 4-1 as opposed to 3-2 or 2-1, that's what used to get them in trouble. And Frank Corrado detailed that in the first hour, where it would be like, we're up 2-1, let's cheat for offense and let's try to stretch this thing out and really blow the doors off of them. And then it would be 5-2 for the other team, and they'd be just cross-eyed after the game saying, I just don't know what happened out there.
So you would rather be up 2-1 in the third period than 4-1.
Well, you'd rather win, though, Jonas. That's
the bottom line is
like,
winning. And if it means being stupid or safe and smart, sometimes you got to take safe and smart in a tight playoff game. Because if you're playing against a very effective physical team and you try to cheat, you saw what happened last night. One guy made a stupid play, and then he didn't defend the middle ice properly and ended up in the back of their net. That's how fine the margins are. So if anybody wants to cheat and do stupid things, it ends up in the back of your net every damn time in the playoffs. Every time.
Counter?
Yes.
Go for it.
They didn't struggle defensively in the playoffs in previous years, did they?
I don't think they've ever been known as a defensive juggernaut.
Games where they got blown out at times.
I just didn't score, and I think like that's the one thing. Like I don't know about this series. Like
they had 9 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, no, like this series I don't think is a concern. It's more once you get second round, you're facing Tampa or Florida, or third round, I don't know who you're facing at that point, and then like look ahead to the Cup final and you're facing like Vegas or Colorado or one of these teams. That's when we'll see. But like honestly, like all credit to them so far. Like they have done exactly what they did in the regular season, where it's like what's going on in some of these games. but they're finding a way to win. Like Jeff, you're right. Like that game was very close to going where we are talking about this totally differently. But Max Domi makes a big play in overtime, and they win the game, and they're up 2-0, and they did what they had to do. And now, like Hayes was saying, now you have to close it out.
Plus, I think one of the things that has been pointed out is they are comfortable in tighter games. Like you don't see the, hey, we need a home run play here. I think home run plays have been there. We saw the Matthews to Marner stretch pass, beautiful play. But I think they take what's given instead of trying to force something. I'll give you an example. Drake Batherson tried to force something in overtime last night. It didn't happen. It ends up in the back of your net. I think what the Leafs have been able to do through maturity, through systematic play, through that, is take what's given, create a little bit here or there, and when you're given a power play or when you're given maybe open space, that's where you take it. But you don't force everything just because you need a 10-bell play every shift. I think it was Gio that was talking to us about it, and I've talked to Chris Pronger yesterday, said every shift, you don't have to win every shift. What you need to do is continue to build every shift. You can't lose a shift, if that makes sense, where you get hemmed in and it's momentum. I think the Leafs have been a lot more methodical down the stretch here, where they understand their game and they've been more patient within their system. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Patient, I think, is the right word. Patient, I think, is the right word.
Yeah. And you know what, Jonas, you're right. Like, it always comes back to the goalies. Like, Stolarz has made more saves than Allmark, and that's legitimately the truth.
Like, he is a 950 save. I think it's 957 at 5-on-5 in the series, and Allmark is at like 848. Yeah. So it's like they didn't. I don't know what you guys think. Like, thinking back to some of the goalies that they've had, like Jack Campbell had his moments, but like it was always like, is he going to give up a goal in this like big spot? It was the same thing with Frederik Andersen. It doesn't totally feel like that with Anthony Stolarz. Like he hasn't had many games this year where you look at the goals and you're like, yeah, he should have had that one. He should have had that one. Jamie, you would know better, but I still want to see it over a longer period, obviously, than two games, where he's starting every other night, because he hasn't started like this before. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to continue to monitor.
For sure. And now it's on the road, right? Everything's new for him. He's never started a playoff game on the road. He's had two at home and last change. And again, the Leafs have been up 2-0 quick. It's, something's going to change here. Like, I would not be surprised at all if Ottawa's up 2-0 after the first tomorrow. And then you're going to see what you're talking about there. Like, how much patience do you have? How much patience do you want? Right. When does the pressure turn onto the top players for the Leafs to not defend, but now you got to go score? Because that's been an interesting, I think, evaluation of even Matthews. Like, Matthews, I think, has played well. He's got 3 assists in the series. He's checked pretty well. He's been up against tough matchups, but he hasn't been in a position where he has to be the guy with the moment. And that's going to come at some point. Like, at some point, you're going to look to that guy, Matthews, and say, you're the best goal scorer in the world. You're the best player on this team. Team's down 2-1 in the third period. You got to go have a shift, man. You got to go create and score. He hasn't had to do that, and that's a benefit to him and the team. That's a good thing. You'd prefer that to continue. Hopefully he never has to. But we know in reality he's going to. And Marner's going to have to do that, and Willie, where they're going to be chasing a game. And Stolarz is going to have to keep them in the game as opposed to keep the lead. And these are all different ebbs and flows that come with the playoffs, and I would fully anticipate that tomorrow night. And Jonas, I guess Craig Berube indicated he likely won't make a lineup change tomorrow. Are you buying that? Are you surprised by that? What would you expect for tomorrow?
He kind of left it a little open-ended, like the whole I'm still thinking about it, which he kind of does all the time. Like, he's always like, yeah, I might change something. But in this case, I think he would have to think about it, and I think there's really only one candidate to potentially come out, and that's Nick Robertson. He's played the least minutes so far, which I don't think would surprise really anyone. He's played about 10 minutes a game. He has 1 shot on goal. He set up the Riley goal in Game 1, but takes the bad penalty in the game last night. That leads to a goal. He took some penalties like that late in the year where it's like, and I still wonder about Max Pacioretty. Like, I think at some point, if they're going to go on a long run, they're going to need him for one reason or another. I would put him back in. He hasn't played in 2.5 months, so it's like, what are you going to get from him for a guy who hasn't played since February? I don't know, but I still think they have a hole on that second line with Tavares and Nylander that needs some sort of fix. And like Hayes, you're mentioning, like when you're on the road, suddenly the matchups actually matter a lot more. And it's like that third line, if it's Domi, if it's Holmberg, suddenly that's like, if I'm Travis Green, that's a line I'm going to think about picking on. So I wonder if all that kind of swirls around in Craig Berube's mind in the next 12 hours, and maybe he makes a change.
Big time.
Jonas, I think the idea of Max Pacioretty playing about 10 to 12 minutes and hit everything that moves would be an ideal situation, where it's not like 10 years ago where it was like be our best left winger and be a game changer and a goal scorer. Just say, like a caged animal, you go out there, anything that's breathing on the black jersey side, you run it through the boards. And I think that would be an ideal thing for him.
I don't think he's super happy right now about this situation because, obviously he didn't get to play the last 2 months because of the salary cap. And then it's like, well, you're going to come back for the playoffs, right? And then it's like, actually, no, we're going to go with these lines that work late in the season. And suddenly, so maybe you're exactly right. Give us 10 minutes, be pissed off.
Yeah.
And you're just going to trust him more than you're going to trust Robertson ultimately for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
we'll see.
I agree with that. And at the same point, you're putting trust in a veteran guy who's had injuries, who hasn't played in a long time too.
Yeah.
But he has been in that situation a lot. Lastly, what was the buzz like in the room last night? I mean, Domi scores. He was on the ice for the Gaudette tying goal. There's some miscommunication with him and Ekman Larsson. He had an awful game one. I'm sure Max was buzzing, but what were you picking up on in the room?
Yeah, you could see it all around him. It was a more, he hasn't had a lot of games like that or a lot of moments like that where he can just kind of be in a positive spotlight. And whenever he's in a post-game scrum or something, he doesn't really like to talk that much about himself or dig too deep into that stuff. But Ryan Reeves was around the room, Jake McCabe was around the room after the game. There was a good vibe in there. And you felt, honestly, just watching Max Domi the last couple months, he has worked, I'll give him credit, he's worked hard on his game. That's something I always kind of look for when a guy is struggling, I can't see everything, but I can see a lot of the work that you do on the ice. And he was working at it. He was working on his shot. He was working on his passing. The game before, or the day before game one, he was going to play with John Tavares, obviously. And he was working with Tavares after practice to just develop chemistry, to try to build, have some reps together on the ice. So, I don't know. It's a nice moment for him. He's had a difficult year, and you could feel it in the dressing room that they were happy for him to get that moment, just given everything, and obviously the hometown factor, his dad, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a really cool moment. All right, Jonas, thank you for doing this as always. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
I'll give you a big hug the next time I see you at the
Let's
game.
hug it out,
Snubbed him.
Jonas.
Snubbed him.
Let's hug it out. I'll bring the TSN crew. You bring the Athletic crew. We'll all meet somewhere in the middle up there. I love it.
Later, guys.
Thanks, Jonas. There's Jonas Siegel of the Athletic. Yeah, it's a big moment, man. You get an OT winner, a guy like Max Domi, who's from here. His dad was a Leaf legend. That's. I know I'm laying it on thick, the Battle of Ontario stuff, but people in this town have been living off of the top. Stumpy was there last night. Stumpy was looking great. And how many times have we seen that OT winner from Bears into Stumpy in the last 2 weeks?
An OT winner is a big moment. If you don't, I didn't win a cup. My OT winner in that same building is the biggest goal of my life.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah. Turn the lights out on the Air Canada Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. And that's what you dream of, right? You score an OT winner. You can't beat that, man. Here we're watching this here where the defense, man, just dog park defense, but there
What's
they go.
What's going on there?
Yeah, Stumpy just flying. Holden, I always found it fascinating. He's got both hands on his stick while he's flying to the net.
backhand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tommy B in that, was that?
Yeah.
Tommy Barrasso?
You guys heard Rob's talk about it the other day. If those Toronto teams weren't so run and gun, I'll put that politely. They could have won a Stanley Cup. Their attention to detail was not so hot.
Right.
40 shots a night for the goalie.
Yeah, we had, Rob's was joking. We don't you're gonna get 44 shots tonight, so you can be good. That's the way you play your best. We had no business beating that team if you just compare rosters in 2002. But turnover, and that's how the game
Next
goes.
thing you know, 2-on-1 in overtime.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Or here's a better example. I think it was in 1999. a Sabres team without Hasek.
That's right.
Oh,
Without Hasek. I was in the building, and I'm like, they're going to smoke this Buffalo team. And I was watching the game, and my eyes were popping out of my head. I think the Leafs got smoked.
Yeah,
Buffalo
I think they lost
went
5,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Buffalo went to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
is that when Hasek choked out a reporter? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The reporter thought he was faking an injury or something, and he choked the guy out. I can't remember. I don't know if that was in Ottawa or in Buffalo. I feel like it was in Buffalo.
It might have been.
Do you remember that? Or
I remember the story. I don't remember
up?
when it happened, but I remember.
I think a reporter basically, I'm paraphrasing, thought, asked if he was faking an injury or something, and I think...
Imagine asking a guy that. Are you faking an injury?
I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but I know there was an altercation where he went at the guy.
Yeah, the Latrell Sprewell chokeout is it's pretty effective, I will say that.
Yeah.
But it is aggressive. Yeah, it's that's what it is now. It's Thomas and Cross and Roberts and Sundin and Domi now. In terms of OT winners for the Leafs, the Battle of Ontario. Game 3 tomorrow night. And we mentioned Jeff Skinner not playing tonight for the Oilers. Arbor Xhekaj will not play for the Habs tonight. There was some discussion there. Could they put Xhekaj in?
Why would you put him in?
I guess the thought is the physicality and the size of the Capitals, but I hear you. He hasn't been playing, and they've been playing well without him. And
he's a 6, and that he's not going higher in the lineup. He's a 6. And to me, they're I think they're D's mobile. That Caden Gooley, he's good. They've got some good young defense. That Matheson's good. I get the
Carrier
toughness.
Was really good the other night.
Yes, I get the toughness, but it just you're trying to win a game. You're not trying to win fight. And I don't fights. I just don't think Montreal is afraid of Washington. Washington's bigger physically, but Xhekaj, I don't know. I know there's a big debate there going on, and Xhekaj certainly is one of the toughest kids in the league, no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Washington's going, okay, Xhekaj's in the lineup.
Oh, they would probably want him in there.
Exactly, because they can expose him defensively.
Exactly. He's not fighting Tom Wilson at center ice.
Right.
At the end of the day, Marty St. Louis knew dummy. No dummy. If it was going to give them an advantage to try to have a better chance to win, coaches will only put the best roster that they believe has the best chance to win. He's not going to purposely sit out a player, and you learn that as a young player, and an older player will explain to you when some young dum-dum says, the coach is screwing me, he's not putting me on the ice.
Yeah.
In the NHL, there is so much pressure on the coach to win games. He has to put the guys playing the best on the ice. There's no way he's going to purposely screw over anyone because they're playing too well. It's impossible.
Right.
But you're just so stupid and egotistical, you think, I'm getting screwed by... At every level, there's somebody that's saying, I'm getting screwed by the coach, he doesn't like me. No coach doesn't like a guy. You either play good, you go on the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
generally the rule of thumb.
So true. Did you see what Doogie sent us? In a heated exchange following a playoff loss, Dominic Hasek, while playing for the Buffalo Sabres, attacked Buffalo News columnist Jim Kelly.
Oh, Jim Kelly. He was a legend down there in Buffalo.
The altercation stemmed from a column Kelly wrote questioning Hasek's mental toughness and performance during the playoffs.
Wow. 3-game suspension and a $10K fine.
It says Hasek first pushed Kelly and then swung at him.
Fine.
Wow. Yeah, Jim Kelly, man, he was a legend.
Yeah, he was a legend. Yeah, big
all right,
time.
We'll come back and reset that and get to our best bets. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, we'll get to our best bets powered by FanDuel later in the hour. We get the Habs in action tonight, looking for a split down in Washington. The Oilers in action. What else we got going on tonight? A lot of games. Man.
Jays, we got some NHL.
We got the Jays. We got Dallas, Colorado, back in Colorado. That's a heater game tonight.
Yeah, that is.
Landeskog's going to lace him up. That'll be exciting to watch.
What a great story.
Yeah, it is.
Great story.
And he took the warm-up the other night, and is it confirmed he's going to play tonight?
Sounds like it.
I'm not
like
an insider, but I would be fairly confident that he would be playing tonight.
Okay. I like that. And you think they were prepared? They were waiting until they got home for that to happen?
I don't know. It's weird with these things. It's I don't know if it has something to do with the mental and actually putting the player on the ice in an NHL building in warm-up, skating around, and then the next phase is like you're staying like you're, you know what I mean? I just don't know what the protocol is. I know there's some situations where some of these guys, I think the league went to teams and said, don't even think about putting that guy on the ice for the first game of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like the Evander
Matthew
Kane
Tkachuk's
situation.
out there playing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, he came back from the Four Nations. They're like, I don't know. And then he gets 2 goals and an assist.
Something was tight, and then it was like, he's gone till game 1.
Yeah, we'll be lucky if he can play in the playoffs.
I
don't
think the league's got to look into it.
2 goals
I
and
think
an
there's been
assist.
how many examples have there been? Like, there's been Mark Stone, there's been Kucherov, Matthew Tkachuk, Evander Kane.
Yeah, Patrick Kane years ago did it in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I think the league's got to look into it just to address it. It's just got a bad look to it, man. It really does.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is what sucks is if a guy, like now in the future, a guy's going to really get injured, and they're going to be like, look at what they're doing. Like it's because these guys have had injuries, but chances are they could have come back maybe a month earlier. Kucherov it looked like it sounded like he could have
just
come
think
back.
of how
early.
stupid it sounds to just say it out loud. A guy gets injured, and you can add a quality player with whatever money's available. It just doesn't seem right on a league that's so tight with money, and all we talk about is a salary cap. But it's been going on for a bunch of years, and teams have won because of it.
I'll be honest, though. I think maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe when the cap is at 120, or the cap's at if that cap continues to climb, I don't think we're going to run into these issues as
when
much.
I see it.
But every player's going to want more money. That's the thing.
I understand that there is going to be a guy who's going to make $20 million and all of that. Like all the other leagues have blown through it.
Yeah.
I've said this before. It used to be, Chris Pronger in '99 or 2000 was making $10 million a year. Now the top guy's making what, 14?
Yeah.
And basketball and everybody else, I get revenues and TV contracts and all of that. But it's been insane, the growth in other sports with the athletes, not the values of the organizations, but the athletes were kind of kept under this little wrap. It's like, you're making $10 million a year. That's a lot of money. Yes, it is. But what we were talking about, street clothes and guys like that, don't they make $40 million a year, $50 million a year?
Oh, yeah. In the NBA, you're talking $300 million deals that are 5 years in length.
Again, different leagues.
Exactly, and it's a smaller roster and all that kind of stuff. I mean, everything is different. Baseball is different. Football, football, you could argue, is the craziest because you got like the 52nd, 53rd guy on that team is making $1 million and the league's generating $20 billion a year. Like, it's a lot of money, but there are guys who are you play in the league for 3 or 4 years. You're not set for life. Like you're going to make some good cash, but you're out. So yeah, I mean every scenario is different, but it will be great to see Landeskog go tonight, and I'm glad there isn't an 11 o'clock start because I got out of that rink last night around 11:45 or so last night.
Is it kind of gong showy on the streets?
No, it's eerie on a Tuesday, an hour and a half after the game because there's no one out there. It's kind of weird walking around downtown because it's a ghost town. It's almost midnight on a Tuesday, and people that cleared out of the rink, they may have gone somewhere for an hour and 20. No one's partying like it's a Saturday night. But I drove home, got into the door, grabbed something to eat, sat down, turned on TV. The Golden Knights game was still in the second period.
Yeah, it's still. I was watching.
It started at 11, I think. Didn't it?
It started at 11. Like 11. I'm watching. It was Ryan McDonough on ESPN. He's like, "Yeah, if you're the Minnesota Wild, you just want to get to the end of the line here." And without seeing the score clock, I thought he meant the end of the game. He was talking about the end of the period.
I'll tell you what. I give those Minnesota Wild
or Callahan. I said McDonough. Ryan Callahan. Yes, of course.
Like that Minnesota team, they are not going to piss. Like, they work, man. Billy Guerin does not let those guys.
Yeah. Well, Boldy's good.
That Boldy's a hell of a player. Kaprizov. The goalie's really good.
Yeah, but that Boldy after last year just didn't finish the way. And Billy Guerin got right in his ear and said, "Don't even think about coming back to camp and playing anything like that. Not happening. Not acceptable."
Yeah.
And he got the message.
Yeah, he
did. They're plucky for sure. I still. I mean, Vegas is a really heavy hitter team, but Minnesota, like all of these teams, they know they're the underdogs. They're going to try. They're going to battle away. Vegas didn't have a great night. I didn't think they looked really good. Watching that game, like I was trying to sleep, and you're like, yeah, the problem is I get watching. You're sitting in your computer.
You don't want to miss anything.
And yeah, exactly. You don't want to miss anything. You're like, all right, I'll keep watching, and now the struggle is in between periods. It's 1:15 in the morning. You're like,
right.
I should be sleeping, but I'll see how the third shakes out.
Well, and that was the other night with the Oilers game. It's 4-1. You're like, forget it, I'm out of here. And then you miss McDavid put forth one of the great 20 minutes of hockey you'll ever see in your life.
I watched that live on my computer, and I was at 4-1. I was like curtains. I was
pulled
like,
the chute.
I'm done.
I'm like, I'm out of here.
But I got watching that on Crave there, the weird show everyone's talking about. What's it called? The Lotus, White Lotus.
Oh, White Lotus.
And I'm almost, now
right,
I'm almost
to
the end of it.
For White Lotus.
I'm almost at the finish line. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch 15 minutes of this, and then I'll turn it off. And I watch 15, and then I jump back into the game, and that's what I stayed right till the end of the Oiler game. But it was the White Lotus that or else I was curtains at 4-1. I would have shut it down. But
yeah, I got you.
Stupid show. Now I'm into it.
Once you're in it, man. Yeah. Once that Sam Rockwell shows up, too, you're like, where's this guy going with his character?
That guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty
Anyone that's seen it, you know what I'm referencing. You're like, what's this Sammy Rockwell
He's enjoying
up to
himself.
here, man? He likes Thailand a lot.
Exactly.
We'll come back with our best bets powered by FanDuel and look ahead to a big night in sports. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm going to go Habs on the puck line, Oilers on the puck line. I think both teams can win tonight. I like the Oilers to bounce back. I think the Habs, I like the way they played down the stretch the other night, but I think both are close games. I think if they lose, I could see overtime. I could see a one-goal game. You parlay both of those on the puck line, you're getting plus money, plus 120 on that. That's your best bets powered by FanDuel. Live same-game parlays are now available for every Stanley Cup playoff game in the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario. So we're going to be in there. We'll be in there tomorrow, prepping for Game 3 of the Leafs and Sens. Yeah. And Jets are playing tomorrow, right? And I think Boston Pizza is going to send in some food. I guess they got this new wing sauce, the Atomic Hot Streaker.
You going to try it?
Someone's getting after it tomorrow. I'll try it. I'll give it a shot.
You'll be full Shaq as soon as the show starts.
I'm concerned about that. I will go
true.
Shaq, and I will be leaving you guys, Garth Algar, times 2. You guys can have a good time together if I'm not here. Or Doogie. Maybe Doogie's Philip Pritchard, and he's nailing back the Boston Pizza hot sauce.
Doogie, you better bring a wig and a jacket and white gloves to see if we give you the stamp of approval to go to the contest on Saturday.
We're going straight to Party City after this.
Shout out.
Love it.
Shout out. All right, get in there.
Yeah.
Doogie
Pritchard.
Pritchard.
Doogie Pritchard. What's better, Doogie Pritchard or Nico Ferguson Jr.?
That one's unbelievable.
I got to go with Nico, man. Nico...
Dude,
that guy
that's
can't be
dangerous
anymore,
character.
right?
I still
he's got to be in somewhere like in South America or something.
Dude, on a beach in Costa Rica. I
can neither confirm or deny that.
I still love, though, Hayes, what you said. He had 2 months to prepare for that.
That's his line.
That's what he came up with.
Yeah.
Like,
that's me in school back in the day. It's like, dude, I told you about this exam 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I walk in there and I'm like, it's Herbie Hancock.
Dude, like hire a PR firm for that.
Yes.
Presser.
Literally have a script.
Some doorknob in college could have told you. This is one thing you can't say. You had no idea how popular the player was.
It's just the most asinine comment.
It's the one thing he couldn't even go near, and he did it.
No idea. Totally oblivious to that. My bad. I don't know what else to say, guys. My bad. I thought Luca was more of a depth piece in terms of marketing here.
Didn't realize how popular he was.
What a comment.
Oh, man.
Like, the only thing worse would be, like, I didn't realize fans wanted us to win. Like, I didn't know that was something fans were looking forward to. But now I know that, and we'll go and do our best to try to win.
Wild stuff.
Yeah, it's wild
Insanity.
stuff. It is. All right, so we got Game 3 tomorrow night. Leafs Sens. We got games tonight. We'll be breaking down. The Jays are in action tonight. It sounds like Dalton Varsho could be close to a return maybe this weekend. They're in New York playing the Yankees this weekend. It's a big one tonight. You got to get one in this series. Got to. You're off tomorrow, travel day in New York, in the Bronx. The Yankees are red hot. They're hitting. They're doing what they're doing. So get after it tonight. Full breakdown of all that and more. Who knows? Plus, night one of the NFL draft, right?
Exactly.
Maybe we got a gas mask tomorrow night. Anything's possible.
Oh, my God.
Anything's possible in the NFL. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Jonas might hate your guts. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.